YouTube, what's going on Facebook, what's going on X, and all those other places like that. It's Kev from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. If you can hear me, let me know. I got to do my checks, man. My checks and balances. I got to make sure that the sound is on point. I got to make sure it ain't popping and all of that gibberish. So if you can hear me clearly, let me know. I can see you guys are chatting right there. I can see the little chit chats. Good stuff. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday as we get prepared for the weekend again. It looks like they come and go. Just come and go. Watching the days go by. And I'm counting down the days to when we can get creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy Joe out of office. So hit that like button, share my videos, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Make sure your notification buttons are turned on and double check to make sure you're still subscribed, because you just might not be. Who knows? Who knows when it comes down to the jokers that run this network? But other than that, let's go ahead and get ready to knock it out the park tonight. Now, people have been asking. Last night, man, we had a good time with our second version of Creepy Sleepy, his greatest hits, as we tied up the prior year. But people was like, man, you should do another one on Friday. I don't know. I'll see. I mean, because I got archives and archives of Creepy Sleepy, Sleazy, Slimy, Sloppy Joe stinking it up. So we'll see. But tonight we got to touch on some other gibberish, okay? Because, see, we got us a new form of democracy, okay? According to the Democrats, see, we're going to go ahead and evaluate their style. When they talk about democracy, we want to find out what exactly does that mean. That's what we want to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I got to get loose. You know how it is, man. Oh, because I rock the planet. Beat my chest like a silverback. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some kings in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. That's right, man. Now, before we get into all of that, don't forget to check out Kev's Corner Store. I got me a little store, y'all, set up on the corner, just in case you happen to be walking by and you got a taste for some nice, cool products. You can come right on in and check it out. Walk away with some Kevin from Kevin's Corner gear. So please check that out. It's a way you can support the channel. And another way you can do that is by simply contributing to my monthly fundraiser, which the link is right below this video. You can just click on that and drop a penny, 2, 3, 4. I don't care. I don't care what you put in there. All right. Yeah, if you got big pockets and you feeling real generous, you can drop a gazillion, trillion, $billion in there. I don't care. Yeah, I might not be back after that. Yeah, you'd be like, what happened to Kev? He had the big one. Somebody dropped a gazillion, trillion dollars into his PayPal account, and he went to see Elizabeth, like Fred Sanford. Oh my goodness, I'm coming to see you, Elizabeth. Yeah, that might be a little too much for me to handle all at once. But yeah, no, you can divvy that out if you want to. So anyway, that would help out. And of course, if you want to stay connected with me, just in case they start playing silly games, the number to do that, you can text MAGA to 330-974-4607. Now, guys, some stuff has been going on with this whole 14th Amendment. They won't let it go, man. They just won't let this mess go. Now, they know it's controversial. They know that this could backfire, but they don't care. They are at that level of desperation where they're like, we don't care, man. This is our last ditch effort. Who knows? We might get lucky. We might catch the Supreme Court slipping. And even if we don't, we can stir up a whole bunch of hoopla by trying to legitimize this argument in regards to the 14th Amendment. You know, drum up a whole bunch of excitement and people getting mad and talking about, well, you know, now the Supreme Court justice is all conservative and it's illegitimate because we've been brainwashed into thinking that the 14th Amendment is legit due to the propaganda that they've been pushing. So they're still at it. They won't tap out, even though some people in their own camp are saying, this ain't working. This is a bad idea. You think the Democrats care? You think that deep state care? No, no. So let's go ahead and see what the latest is in regards to this 14th Amendment attempt to get Trump off the ballot. Where we at with this? Okay, wait a minute. How'd the bird come back? The bird is the bird is the bird. How'd that come back? That's okay. I doubled up on it. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. Real gorilla. There's some people's in the building. Gorillas in here. Gorillas in here. Now we can get to the good stuff right now. I told you I was going to give y'all a double dose at some point. So, yeah, all right. So, still trying the old 14th Amendment trick. So, let's see. They done tried the 2 impeachment trick, the Russia collusion trick. So now they're down to the old 14th Amendment trick. Let's see how that's faring.
All of this is strengthening him in the Republican primary. We've run this experiment. He's only gained since he started getting indicted.
What?
What you thought might be kryptonite for him has turned out to be battery packs.
Oh, snap. This coming out of CNN. And look who's sitting right there. Right there. Adam Singlet is sure. The never Trumper. See, I mean, hopefully he understands why he's on CNN. It's not because they love him. No, it's because he's a rhino. Yeah, it's because he's being prostituted. And we're going to see some more rhinos later in the show that is willing to put on that red dress and throw on those high heels. Yeah, it's a couple more of them. So he's sitting up there with his red dress on and his high heels. That skirt, you just can't see it because he got the suit up top. So there he is sitting there pretending that he's trying to defend democracy or something. But they brought on a guy who was keeping it real. He's calling it like he see it. He's like, dude, this ain't working. The more y'all go after Trump, the stronger he gets. He's like, you know who? Dun, 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 dun. The more you attack him, stronger he gets. So let's finish hearing this guy give them words of wisdom and see if other people are taking this man's advice.
And this is a big one for him. Presumably the Supreme Court will deal with it fairly quickly. And I expect that they will leave him on the ballot. And yes, Brianna, I have very, very strong reservations about all of this. I do think it would rip the country apart if he were actually prevented from running
But do you think the Democrats care? I mean, this is coming from obviously a person who don't like Donald Trump, but he sees some writing on the wall. He sees that we see that this is all bullcrap. We see that these people are no longer even attempting to try to be subtle and discreet about their corruption. They don't even care that we recognize that their form of democracy is shut up and pick between the two people we allow y'all to pick. They're beyond trying to fake it till they make it. They're like, man, we can't do it. If we could get past this Trump hump, then we can get back to that. See, give us control, get rid of this dude, and we can get the people back in line eventually. So this is no time to try to pretend that we have a legitimate republic, or in their words, a democracy. There's no time to try this. So what we can do is just try to convince the nonchalant, ignorant folks that are walking around, the casual viewers, the people who have a low political IQ. All we can do at this point is try to convince them that we're justified in destroying democracy by making them think we're defending democracy. That's all we can do at this point. Salvage the bubbleheads that we can, because there's so many Americans that see that these folks are evil. And I'm about to show you just how evil and deceptive these people are. I mean, it's fascinating to watch. If it wasn't so scary and real, and if it couldn't affect our country in the way that it could. So now this man is saying, look, man, it's not a good idea because it's going to be crazy if y'all steal this election by removing Trump off that ballot. But they don't care. They're still going for it.
Tens of millions of people want to vote for him. I think if you're going to beat Donald Trump, you're going to probably have to do it at the poll.
Actually, you're going to have to do it at the poll. And that's what they don't want. They don't want those kind of, fisticuffs right there. Joe don't want to go toe to toe. How can Joe go toe to toe? Because Joe don't know. Joe right now is like, what? Am I still in the race? You're going to make me president again, aren't you? Nah, Joe, I thought we talked about this. We wanted you to go ahead and drop out, but for some reason, you think you got here by yourself. So now we got to clean up this mess. And we got to do whatever we can to stop Trump from winning. So here we are. Now, here's a little clip from the Hens on the View. All those witches sitting around there like Clash of the Titans. All of them sitting in that bad boy contemplating on this. And a voice of reason pops up because they're saying, you know what? We've sat and watched all of this. We've sat and watched them throw everything, including the kitchen sink at Trump, and it seems to not be working. And they're setting horrific precedents. Horrific. All of these things that they're doing could come back and boomerang on them. But yet there's one bubblehead, just one, right here, sitting in that audience right there, right on that set, who for some reason really is concerned about Trump getting in. She don't realize this is all a game. She don't realize that this right here is just simply an effort to stop the man. He's not really Hitler. He's not really Mussolini. He's not really a tyrant. He's not really racist and a white nationalist. She don't see that. She thinks all of this is serious. So look at her form of supporting democracy. And I'm talking about none other than Toucan Sandos, Joy Behar.
We agree with Governor Gavin Newsom and David Axelrod. These are Democrats, leading Democrats, that say this would really cause a division that's almost insurmountable. And as someone that believes January 6th was that bad,
so what are you saying?
Wait, just 1 second.
Y'all hear Toucan? You hear Toucan talk about, so what are you saying? Yeah, she's scared. She's scared. She can't take. She's like, wait a minute. So are you trying to tell me we should let this man run and let the people decide? What are you saying? That's madness. That's nonsense. She's dead scared. You see.
I don't think the Supreme Court's going to hold this. I think they're going to overturn it, and it won't just be the originalists. I bet it's a 9-0 vote.
Me too. I mean, this lady must have fell out the bed in the middle of the night and bumped her head. Okay, so here she is. She's like, yo, I think the Supreme Court going to go 9-0, and I do too. I think they're going to run the table on this. Going to shock the world. I shook up the world. I know all the bubbleheads are going to be just like they were when Trump beat Crooked. When he beat Crooked Hillary, boy, you should have saw the expressions on their faces. They couldn't believe it. So I think it's going to be 9-0. And then, of course, they're going to try to say, well, the Supreme Court is illegitimate. It's because of Clarence Thomas, that black white nationalist, that he's all of that. They're going to do something like that. But here she is trying to warn Joy, who probably is really relying on this 14th Amendment.
I actually don't think they will hold this.
So you think
look. Y'all serious? She's serious. She's not acting. At this point, Joy Behar is one of the purest bubbleheads on that show. Her and Whoopi are pure bubbles. See, the other ones are smart, but they are playing their part. Those two, though, are real bubbles. These other people got a little political background. They got a legal background. Whoopi's an actress. Joy's an actress. They're talk show host. They're not lawyers. They're learning a little bit about government and all that stuff through the years of Trump being in power. See, The View didn't used to just focus on nothing but politics, everyday Trump. So they had to make this adaptation once Trump became controversial. So they're learning on the fly, and they're not learning well. They're horrible students. So here she is. She's legitimately concerned. Like, what do you say? Hold on. So let's see how Joy copes.
they should leave it to the voters or not?
I think
Did y'all hear that? So what do you say? Should they leave it to the voters or not? See, this is the mentality of a Marxist right there. She doesn't even know it. Yeah, I guarantee you in her mind, Trump is a dictator. He's a fascist. That man don't care about democracy. As this woman ignorantly confesses. So what are you saying? They should leave it to the voters or not? She really would prefer not to leave it to the voters and is totally oblivious to the fact that she is what she claims Trump is. And that's really most leftists, most radical liberals who suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. Unfortunately, they have no self-awareness that they are everything that they claim Trump is, MAGA folks are. All of those young snotty nose whip the snappers running around attacking Trump supporters, tearing down stuff, shutting down debate and talking about we're shutting down these fascists. That's what we're doing. We're fighting against fascism and white nationalism and racism and all of that stuff, not realizing that they're the fascists. It's amazing how the Democrat Party has successfully, convinced their bubbleheads and their radicals that no, you're not supporting the party of fascism. No, you're not. In fact, you're defending democracy. You're defending our republic by fighting against the folks that are the real fascists and stuff. Those fascists that want y'all to keep guns, those dictators that are supporting freedom of speech. Yeah, those ones. Yeah, y'all are fighting against them. And the lack of self-awareness is off the chain. So there's Joy. Joy's out there like, what are you saying? You want to leave it to the people? Man, what kind of democracy is that? I ain't never heard of no democracy where the people decide. Man, we want us a Democrat democracy where the Democrats and the deep state decide who runs, who wins, who's tolerated, all of that stuff. Forget that mess, man. We don't believe in no power to the people, even though we always saying that. But we don't really believe in it. Because if we leave it to the people, too many of them are still smart enough to see that these are the real insurrectionists. The deep state, the Democrats, all of them in cahoots. So we can't leave it to them. And Joy ignorantly throws that out there and makes a confession that really she has a, dictator mentality. Yeah, she got the banana republic all in her head. Let's continue though, because they're busting Joy's bubble.
They should leave it to the voters, but I think the
She's like, oh no. You know what, man? Only reason, man, Joy is pure-hearted. She's purely ignorant, man, and sincere. Oh no. She's like, that's a terrible idea. You know what she's really saying? I know that Trump is going to whoop the mess out of Joe Biden. And she sees the writing on the wall. All of them are seeing the writing on the wall. They're able to see that, you know what, we might be outside the margin of cheating. It's starting to get that out of hand. So if we leave it to the people, we're doomed. And here she is, oh no, like that's a terrible idea. You know what's going to happen if we do that.
Because what will happen is that martyrdom will be one step more. We have a nation that doesn't believe in democracy, doesn't believe in the voting. Everyone that loses says it was rigged and failed. I think this will create a visual to people that this was a rigged election.
And how? Now, I hate to agree with one of the hens on The View, but she's right. Nobody trusts the system anymore. See, even with Trump ahead in the polls, I still got my head on the swivel. Even all of the hype about Trump killing him in the polls and he's so far ahead, I don't trust it. I mean, these Democrats, they will push it to the limit to cheat. If they can't win by rigging the numbers and the votes, they'll try to pull some national crisis somewhere. We got to be totally aware of anything happening. I mean, I don't put it past them. So if they're willing to go so far as to try to just simply remove this man from the ballot in many states, then what else would they be willing to try? Because they know what's at stake. They know that Trump is smarter this round. They know that he's going to pick better people this time. They know that he's going to target the agencies that have the ability to sabotage him and do all these things this time. So they're worried. I mean, so it scares me to a degree because I'm saying, I'm trying to think, you got to try to think like your enemy. If you are that trapped animal with your foot in a bear trap, I mean, what would you do to get out of that? I mean, somehow they're willing to tear that foot right off. And what that looks like, we don't know. We don't know what their tear the foot off moment is. Right now, it looks like the 14th Amendment is the start of them tearing their foot off. But we'll see. They probably got some other fallback plans. And so we got to constantly be looking around like the Terminator, doom, 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 scanning for shenanigans.
I think that the law will stand, and people should follow the
The law will stand. I think that the law will stand. Look at that face. She's concerned. She's a concerned citizen. You know what? I think that the law will stand. Now, what law would you be referring to, Joy? I mean, I didn't know you was a legal scholar. Are you talking about that 14th Amendment that everybody is vaguely trying to interpret? The one that's never been used in the history of the country? So you're saying, I think that the law will stand. I would love to hear her break down her interpretation of what that law is. But she can't. She's going off of what they've told her. The little bits and pieces she's getting from her handlers that, like Joy, you don't need to learn. You don't need to look up stuff. We'll tell you what it means, okay? All right. You're our most trustful bubblehead on the show. You're a pure bubblehead. You're innocently a bubble. Okay. The others, we got to tell them, hey, if you're going to be on this show, you got to pretend to be a bubblehead. Okay. But you're the original. You're the original. We want you just like you are. So let's get into you.
law.
If that is the law the Supreme Court
If you're not
does,
going to
I'm
follow an
conflicted.
amendment, then why don't we have Taylor Swift
I take
run
the
for
difference. I think
president?
it's
If we're not going to follow the amendment, why don't we just have Taylor Swift run for president? So what about all the other amendments? That's what I'm wondering. See, with Democrats and leftists, the amendments go out the window when they don't work for them. Yeah, when that Supreme Court laid down that ruling on abortion, all of a sudden, man, they didn't like the Constitution. They didn't like amendments. They didn't like kicking it back to the states, letting the people decide. They didn't like that stuff. They don't like democracy, period. Based on the fact that they're not even letting people be on the ballots against Joe Biden. So these people are so blind to their party, the very party they support. They have no idea they're supporting evil. This is what's fascinating about the Democrat Party. That's one thing I can say. I'm impressed. I'm like, wow, they successfully was able to take over the brains of millions of people to where they don't see that they're the baddies. They're supporting the baddies. That's what they're doing. They don't even stop to question, wait, why can't nobody run against Joe Biden? Wait a minute. Why did Mayor Conehead up there in Chicago not allow them to vote whether they should be a sanctuary city or not? That doesn't look like democracy. Maybe perhaps we're supporting the party that claim they're fighting for democracy just for show. They're using the reverse mind tricks. They're using those Bugs Bunny mind tricks. They're using those Jedis. That's what they're doing, man. And got me caught up thinking we're fighting for democracy. Yeah, because we don't want folks to vote. That's what we do when we're fighting for democracy. So let's finish watching this innocent bubblehead get concerned.
Clear perspective than the martyrdom. I'm very conflicted on this as a conservative because I tend toward being more of an originalist. I worry about two things.
Okay, Bubble 2 is coming in. Bubble 2 is about to come in, and you know who I'm talking about, y'all. Rocks in the voice. Wolfman Jack smoking a pack of cigarettes all day and all night long. So let's hear Rocks come in.
When we look at the law, you think of the precedent that it sets. So say that this ends up holding. Donald Trump becomes, if he, God forbid, becomes president about this time next year, he could weaponize that same ruling to keep Democrats off the ballot. In the same way that he says, Joe Biden is a threat to democracy, he's going to say, this Democrat engaged in this is what I mean. And I'm taking off the ballot.
So then we're operating from a place of fear.
Did y'all hear? Rocks in the voice coming. Well, then we operating from a space of fear. Well, I fear that voice. Can you imagine being a little kid and she's your grandmama with a grown man voice? You know how many mixed signals? Why grandmama sound like that? Did grandmama eat a porcupine? That's what I would be asking. But nonetheless, here she comes. We're operating from a place of fear. Now, this is the MO of all Democrats. They totally want all their voters to operate from a space of fear. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Meaning this, Donald Trump even though he shows no signs of being this. He never showed any signs of being this during the first presidency of him. No, he never showed any signs of this. But now that man's about to step on the scene with a gangster lean and take over the whole country. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna do all kind of stuff. Send folks back to Africa, lock folks up. Oh, he might kill women. Yeah, he's gonna do all of that stuff. They operate. That's in their playbook. Scared the heck out of all the people. And if you don't believe me, we're about to show you 3 so-called Republicans that they recruited to do just that. To create a sense of fear. They're trying to scare people away from voting for Donald Trump. Now, these people have a tendency, these 2 people are like, look, man, this could backfire on us and all of this stuff. So I don't think it's a good idea for us to go down this path. And then Whoopi comes in, what, you scared? Y'all scared? Man, well, let's do this, baby. Knowing she has no idea this is going to backfire. She's not thinking about the consequences. She's not thinking about the fallout. She's not thinking about the damage it would do to our country forever. We already are at the brink of just saying, hey, look, our back's against the wall. These people, man, they're gunning for us. They done did everything they can to Trump. We all see what they're trying to do to conservatives. And this is a concern to conservatives. Real conservatives. I ain't talking about casual voters and stuff. I'm talking about folks that observe this and say, we are in trouble. Now, to see them do something like remove him from the ballots and pull off another win, do you think we would ever trust our republic again? You think we would ever say, you know what? I got a legitimate Republican I can vote for. Every person after Trump, if they could get rid of him, would be just paid opposition. They would be somebody who we would go, yeah, they stuck that person up there, but we already know. Deep down, they own him somehow. They own her somehow. There's only so far they're going to go. They're not going to really attack the deep state. They're not really going to shut down the border. They're not really going to get us out of endless wars. At some point, they're going to disappoint us. At some point, they're going to sell out. At some point, they're going to, have a favor to pay when they want to make a decision on their own. We can't have you doing that. At some point, they're going to have some dirt on these people, and they won't be able to act like they're supposed to act and do what the people voted them in to do. That is why Trump is so dangerous right now to them, because they have none of that on him. That Jeffrey Epstein list just dropped. They have a lot on Wild Bill. They got a lot on a whole bunch of people. But then they have a nerve to say, well, look at Donald Trump's name on that list. Twice, many, many years ago, never flew to the island, took a quick trip, came back and realized that this dude's a dirtbag and stopped that dude from even coming to Mar-a-Lago. But I know they wish. Now, if Trump would have did something with Jeffrey Epstein or any of those chicks, I guarantee you, we'd have found that out the first time when Trump ran. They were digging for stuff. See, this is how they caught a whole bunch of people. This is how they catch a lot of these people. Like Joe Biden. You think Joe can make his own choices even if he was in his right mind? How much dirt they got on this dude that they're still covering up. What in the world is holding up the FBI from releasing that audio tape of Joe talking to the dude from Ukraine? Huh? That's what I'm wondering. There you go. What took them so long to release that laptop, even though they didn't? See, Giuliani had to do that because they would have never did it. They would have kept that mess suppressed. So they have stuff on all of these people, but not Trump. They tried to get that mess on him when he first got into office, tapping his phones like, I hope he says something crazy. We're going to use this bootleg narrative and predicate to listen in on him to acquire dirt. Yeah, we got to set up a false predicate to listen to so we can acquire dirt because we ain't got none. We ain't got none. Then they had to go and say, let's pay Fusion GPS or whatever they're called to get some dirt on this man. Come on, man. Come on, Steele. We need some dirt. Right now, we winging it. So they never was able to get the real dirt to control Donald Trump. And that's why he is the number one threat. So all these other folks that would come behind him, I would be going, man. And our democracy, our republic, would, I don't know if it could ever recover. It would have to be torn down by the people. It can be, I'm a leader that's tearing it down partially just to fit or create the perception that, hey, we're back to normal. I mean, it would be one of those things where I say, I don't trust nobody but us at this point. Yeah, I don't know what you might say you're doing this and getting rid of that and watching over this, but I don't trust you. It would have to be the people. And we don't want that because we know that would get completely ugly. So we'll see. But this is their form of democracy. Let's finish hearing these bubbles.
As secretaries of state, or he has appointed judges that he appointed who are loyal to him, they will weaponize the same decision. And one more thing,
I'm
democracy.
pretty sure the Democrats aren't going to start a January 6th insurrection.
But the problem
Holy moly. You see Dummy Sonny? Yeah, Dummy Sonny comes in talking about, yeah, but the Democrats aren't going to go and start an insurrection. They already have, and you don't even know it. They're about 5 years into an insurrection, and you don't even know it, Sonny Dummy. She don't even know it. Up here talking about they're not going to start an insurrection. They started that mess when Trump won, before he won. They started that insurrection by wiretapping his phones, planting all kind of moles and sending the FBI right in there to get fake behind data to get rid of Michael Flynn. They started that a long time ago. The whole J6 thing, she's so dumb she don't realize that the insurrection was done by them. Maybe Dummy Sonny needs to look at that video clip where those dudes inside the Capitol couldn't get that magnetic door open, so they looked up at the camera and signaled, hey, this one right here, we can't get it open. We can't get it open. And then miraculously, click, click, it opens up and in comes all the insurrectionists. How'd that happen, Sonny Dummy? See, these are the things that the left don't realize. And see, Sonny thinks she's brilliant. She thinks she's smart. That's the scary part about Sonny. I mean, I think she believes a lot of her stuff as well. And she thinks she's clever. Yeah, arrogantly too. Yeah, but the Democrats aren't going to start an insurrection. They've been insurrectioning all over the country the last 6 years. What do you think it was when they took over about 3 blocks up there in Seattle? What do you call that? Well, what about this taking over police stations, trying to burn officials inside of police stations? What do you call that? See, these are things that I say, y'all can't recognize an insurrection if it slapped you in the face. But then you see one that doesn't have any hallmarks of an insurrection, and you call that an insurrection because they told you it was. Because they selectively showed you some outside footage of folks playing tug of war with the cops and stuff like that. And you just, but there it is. That our democracy was almost taken over. If you watched my show last night, I laid down a perfect case to show how stupid it is to buy into the fact that J6 was an insurrection. All of the gaps, all of the things that don't make sense about how would that look? What would be the end game? I mean, what kind of insurrection would that be? Yeah, all of that. But yet here's Sonny, about that Democrats, they would be the first to start an insurrection. If Trump wins again, do you know they would unleash all of those Black Lives Matterers and all of those Antifians and all of that? They would unleash all of that on us. And here she is. We wouldn't start no insurrection, though. What her arrogant, pompous butt.
It'll be based on their definition and interpretation.
Thank you. See, she say it would be based on their definition or interpretation. So if y'all want to play these games, talking about some Trump committed an insurrection, the 14th Amendment, she has a point. If Trump was to win, if y'all want us to play by y'all rules, I can go down a list of things that will lock up all of these people. I mean, insurrection all over the place. I'd be like, Oprah, insurrection for you, insurrection for you. You get some insurrection, you get some insurrection. Where's Nasty? She would be the first. Nasty Pelosi, go give her some insurrection. That's right, give her an insurrection notice on her door. She opened it up. What is this? I got a notification that I'm an insurrectionist. Trump must be back in power. Yeah, everybody will get Comey will get an insurrection notification. Hillary Clinton, Raggedy Ray, And the list goes on and on. Brennan, Clapper, all of them. They ain't going to, and here she is talking about somebody that, but the Democrats would never start an insurrection. Boy, these people, man, crack me up. It's funny because it's even funnier when you sense that some of them really believe it. See, you got evil folks, then you got ignorant folks. They're both horrible. You know, they both can do damage. But it's kind of funny to see the ignorant folks be dead serious about this. Like, yeah, well, you think the people should? We can't let the people make that decision. Really concerned. So let's see what kind of storm they done created when it comes down to this 14th Amendment. You think that they're all just going to stop now? That the Democrats done convinced these people to open up a door now to where they're all taking a shot at this 14th Amendment thing. Until the Supreme Court steps in and shut it down across the board, it's continuing to surface.
That's right, Monica. And that complaint was filed here in federal court, and a hearing for that is scheduled for tomorrow. Back in October, that candidate, John Anthony Castro, filed an initial lawsuit to bar former President Trump from the New Hampshire primary ballot. He says Trump isn't eligible to run because of the insurrection clause of the
New Hampshire. Wait, you know what? We might as well give it a try too. Shoot. I mean, we done got Colorado up there doing it. Oh man, let's see. Oh, Maine. Let's go for it again. Said, we filed it once, it didn't work, but we're going to go ahead and run it back. Who knows? Yeah, right now it's open season for the 14th Amendment.
14th Amendment. At that time, a judge dismissed the lawsuit, but now he's filed this new complaint saying that this is about principles, writing that he spent money to get his name on the ballot in New Hampshire, and by keeping Trump's name on the ballot, it's keeping him from getting votes.
What the heck kind of argument is that? It's about principle. Instead of people voting for me just because they like me, I want them to vote for me because Trump is not an option. This is unbelievable. It's like, man, I spent money to get my name on the ballot, and if Trump is on the ballot, I ain't gonna get as many votes as I want. So, I mean, it's unfair that Trump's name is on. How about you compete? But that's not the style. That ain't the style of Democrats and rhinos. Nah, man. See, I ain't just throwing off on Democrats. We got some rhinos up here that's supporting this garbage too. We're gonna find out. So, yeah, man, I done put my money out there to put my name on the ballot. I don't want them looking down there and looking at my raggedy name and going, who is this guy again? There's Trump right there. I'm going with Trump. So that's his argument. Yeah, I paid to have my name on the ballot, and Trump on the ballot would take away votes from me. Is that how democracy works? Of course, in the Democrats' democracy. Yeah, this is democratic democracy, y'all. Unbelievable. He looks like a big, fat, soft-core, knucklehead, soy boy. That's what he is. Pee Wee Herman hairstyle. You see that Pee Wee Herman leftover hairstyle sticking up? Excuse me. Pee Wee, go somewhere.
And of course, this comes after both the states of Maine and Colorado banned Trump from their ballots. Castro has filed over 24 lawsuits across the country to keep Trump off the ballot. Again, this hearing is scheduled for 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Look at that mess. They done opened up the door. They done opened up the floodgates for stupidity. And so now what happens is they go to phase 2. All right, now we got to, go into Operation Fear. Because remember, Whoopi Goldberg was, we operating from, the spirit of fear. Well, let me show you just how the Democrats use fear as a tactic. And then they're going to up the ante, y'all. See, it might not work if you just use Democrats to come out and try to scare people. It might not work that way. People might recognize it like, oh, this is Democrats coming out and trying to pretend that Trump's an existential threat. All of that stuff. I mean, surely Joe Biden getting up there saying, ultra MAGA folks, MAGA folks, they're a threat to democracy. Yeah, well, we assume that he would say that because he's creepy. However, what happens when we go out and recruit 3 rhinos to be useful idiots to come out and try to push fear, based on them claiming they are conservatives, and we interacted with Trump. So we know him. Y'all. We trying to tell y'all, it ain't just the Democrats, it's us too. Firsthand knowledge. Let's look at these three witches right here. Look at this. Now, what do you notice?
Donald Trump became president again.
Off grip. What do you notice? That guy works for MSNBC. These women wouldn't be on MSNBC if they were legitimate conservatives, if they weren't willing to prostitute themselves. And I'm not saying that because they're women, okay? There's male prostitutes when it comes down to politics as well. But now they're willing to get on here and prostitute themselves and fake as if Trump is an existential threat and we are here to tell our story. And of course, guys, by doing that, they also bubble wrap themselves in victimhood. So just in case you folks out there realize we're rhinos, that we are sellouts, that we're prostituting ourselves, just in case y'all realize that and got the nerve to criticize us, we're going to lay the groundwork to bubble wrap ourselves by saying death threats. There it is. We're afraid for our lives. Here we chose to come out and do a hit piece on Trump on MSNBC. And just in case you want to criticize us, death threats, our lives are in danger. So listen to this propaganda garbage right here.
What would a second Trump term look like?
Fundamentally, a second Trump term could mean the end of American democracy as we know it. And
now, that's not fair. A second Trump term literally could mean the end of democracy as we know it. Now, if that ain't projection, I don't know what is. We already know getting Trump off that ballot would be the end of democracy as we know it. Stopping Trump from winning would secure the fact that these people could run the table forever, as long as the United States exists, when it comes down to controlling who is in office or not. She is allowing herself to be pimped out by telling you, putting a person in that could stop this and make sure we have, moving forward, fair elections, get rid of the people who've been sabotaging elections, who've been controlling the president, who are these agencies that are really running the country. The only man that could potentially get us back to we the people, I don't want that guy in office. I'd rather keep the agencies running the country. I'd rather keep the uniparty in power. I'd rather keep the status quo. I'd rather keep the perception of a republic. That's what I'd rather do. So now she's doing exactly what Whoopi claims. Then we operate for a spirit of fair. She just said our whole democracy could end if Trump gets in, which is the absolute opposite.
I don't say that lightly. We all witnessed him trying to steal a Democratic election before. And
we did? Look at this. These are so-called Democrats. Yeah, there you go. She said, I don't say that lightly. See, they got to say that to lower down your suspicions. See, you're sitting there right now like, all right, what is this? Eyebrow up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it's the left, maybe it's the right. Either or. But you're sitting there questioning it like first things first. Why are you three on MSNBC? My antennas are already up. Secondly, what do you mean democracy as we know it? But then she comes with this garbage. I don't say that lightly. Oh, there you go. So you don't say it lightly. So that means that, you regrettingly say it. It's now serious because you don't say that lightly. So you got to say that. You got to make it seem like this is serious, and it kind of burdens me to even have to say this.
Historic and unconstitutional lengths to do so.
And then said, we all saw it. Historic and constitutional lengths to do so. We all saw him trying to take over. What did you see? Notice she's not describing any details. Anytime they get on these networks and they all throw out the same talking points, they never describe it. We all saw what Trump did the first time, taking over democracy, tried to stop everything, tried to seize power. And I go, how? Because you're on a network that brought you on to do exactly this. That man's not going to sit back and say, whoa, excuse me. Just how did Donald Trump do that again? You said we all saw it. I saw it. Why am I seeing it differently from what these women saw? That's what my question is. But, she don't care because they're talking to the bubbleheads. Their goal right now is to salvage the bubbleheads and to prep them to be receptive to Trump being removed from the ballot. So they're helping the bubbleheads be, prepped to say, well, the 14th Amendment is, it applies to Trump. Look at these sellouts. I know they got books coming out probably after this.
And that just shows that he's willing to basically break every barrier to get into power and to stay into power. But
You mean like impeaching him twice? You mean like fake Russia collusion? You mean like 4 indictments? All those barriers? You mean like raiding his crib at Mar-a-Lago? You mean stuff like that? You sellout chick? That's what you mean? Do you mean stuff like that? Trying to remove him from the ballot? That's what you mean? You mean barriers like that? Wiretapping his phones? Yeah, he's willing to remove all barriers. The Democrats done removed every barrier it is. They done broke every norm possible. And here she is. We all saw that he's willing to break every barrier. No proof, no evidence, no nothing. She just straight up just came out and said that. And I'm like, okay, which ones? Which ones did he break? I don't know. Is she describing the Democrats? Of course she is. It's projection.
also, I'm very concerned about what the term would actually look like.
Don't need to speculate what a second Trump term would look like.
Why not? We don't need to speculate. There it is, y'all. The first one comes in and tags out to the second bubble, the second sellout. So here she is. I'm scared to see what the second term of Donald Trump would look like. Oh, we don't need to speculate. We don't need to speculate. Why not, lady?
Already saw it play out.
We already saw it play out. What did we see? Anybody? Anybody see it play out? What I saw is a great presidency. I saw prosperity. I saw peace in the Middle East. I saw economic boom. I saw all of that. I saw the border crossings go down. I saw a bunch of that until that mysterious thing just fell out of the sky and it's destroyed our voting process. And then afterwards, what I saw is very suspicious things take place during that election. That's what I saw. That not only Donald Trump saw, but a whole bunch of his voters saw as well. But here she is saying, "Dog, we all saw what he did the first time." I saw him try to go through a rational, reasonable, legal path to dispute that election. That's what I saw. But what did you see, you big old sellout? I guess in her mind, she saw what Liz Cheney saw, what Nancy Pelosi saw, an insurrection. When Trump got up there and said, "Walk over there and let your voices peacefully be heard," it should be translated into "go and hang Mike Pence and kill Nancy Pelosi." That's what it should be translated into. So what is she talking about? We all saw it. I'm like, what did we see? What did we see?
Still doubles down on the fact that he thinks that the election was stolen, and
that's against the law. Still doubling down on it that he thinks that election was stolen. So therefore, that sums it up. He's willing to seize power at any cost by not agreeing with those bootleg election results. Yeah, there it is. He is still denying it based on the fact that he saw people spending the night swiping when they shouldn't have been in there, based on the fact that he was winning in several states. Then all of a sudden, the polls get shut down overnight and then wake up in the morning and then creepy's winning. Yeah, based on that. Based on all of those written sworn testimonies under oath that there was some cheating going on. Based on the fact that they were boarding up windows in front of everybody. Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, that's why he's disagreeing to this day. But you're not going to go ahead and talk about how Hillary is disagreeing to this day. Stacey Abrams, they all had to soften it because, see, they knew they were going to use this whole narrative that Trump never accepted the elections, knowing that their whole crew, all of them, denied elections. So then, of course, they have to do some cleanup. I now kind of agree that I probably did lose Stacey Abrams. They don't even ask Crooked no more. They don't even ask her. So this chick right here, I guess because Trump still disagrees with the results of the election, means that one of two things. One, either he's an insurrectionist and he's deceiving everybody and trying to provoke us to violence by disagreeing with the results purposefully, or he really believes that the election was rigged. Now, see, that's the obstacle they have. See, to say he launched an insurrection, you would have to prove that Trump really knew that he lost. But they can't do that. Trump really believes it was stolen. We all know he believes it was stolen because guess what? We all believe that it was stolen too. I'm no bubblehead. I looked at the same stuff he looked at and said, that's suspicious. So now here she is. He still denies it and all that. So I guess just because he denies it, we all have no choice because Trump's he's our brainwasher. So therefore, if he denies it, then we believe it. We believe it. We're not independent thinkers.
And his rhetoric has just gotten increasingly erratic. I mean, he has literally called for things like doing away with parts of the Constitution to
These are the worst. You know what? When I was watching these three, I was like, y'all the biggest, funkiest sellouts. What did they give you, huh? Who got to you? They all worked in the White House under Trump. These are the worst type of betrayers. Nikki Haley. I mean, Ron DeSantis broke my heart, man. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, these are people that Trump let in, and they know the Democrats are evil. They know that they're corrupt. They know that they're all going after Trump. They know that these are all lies. And they're willing to straight up sell out. And they think that the voters don't see that you are the worst. I could take a Democrat doing that because I already know how they are. But to see a person like this and the other two come out and say crap like this that they know are lies, it just, I want to throw mud all over them.
Weaponize the DOJ to enact revenge on his political enemies.
The fact that he feels that he needs to lean into being a dictator alone shows that he is a weak and feeble man who has...
What is that? This is come on out here and act like a bitter, disgruntled employee or some type of ex-girlfriend who's, let's bring in all his exes who are all jaded. But the fact that he thinks he lean into being a dictator shows he's a weak and feeble man. Sound a little personal. Sound like she went personal. Yeah, let's see if I can slide this in here. I mean, you want us to spice it up, right? That's why we're on MSNBC to trash Trump. And it's so obvious. I'm like, what are you three doing on there? Oh, this is a hit piece on Trump. I already know what's coming. Yeah, so feel free to embellish. Don't stick to the script. You guys are free to kind of go off and spice it up, throw in some of your extra stuff, So now Trump's a weak and feeble man because somehow he's leaning into a dictatorship. And I'm saying, what dictatorship is she talking about? What are you, you big old sellout, you?
Has no sense of character and integrity and has no sense of leadership.
All of that. What else? No integrity, no sense of leadership. The man that ran the country like a business, like a fine-tuned machine up until COVID hit. No sense of leadership, no sense of he doesn't know what it is, and he's nah. And I'm going, y'all act as if we didn't see how he ran the country. But watch what they say. This right here is the ultimate gaslighting coming up.
Who's in the West Wing, and frankly, a lot of cabinet secretaries, they know how dangerous Trump is. People who have the deepest level of respect for, like my former boss, Vice President Mike Pence.
Who is she talking about? See, they just say stuff. People in the West Wing, they all know how crazy Trump was. Who? Name some names. Tell me who. You're just going to say it. Yeah, just to add to your propaganda and make it seem like, no, we're not the only ones. Everybody knew it, but they just are scared to come out and say it. They're scared to come out and say it. And then her butt had the nerve to say, and they all have deep respect for my former boss, Mike Pence. Well, that's why his butt got kicked off the president campaign here. He was the first to go. Yeah, that's how much respect. Now, I mean, if you're talking about some deep state actors, then maybe. But I guarantee you, the people don't have any respect for Mike Pence at all. It's like bringing up Mike Pence's name. You should never brought that up. That only made me madder. Let's continue.
He's seen more than any of us have seen. He knows more than any of us know. And I would just hope in this moment when we are less than a year out, or basically a year out from the election, that he would think about speaking out more forcefully just about the unfitness of Donald Trump.
Unfitness? What kind of unfitness we talking about? Mental? Physical? I mean, he just had an exam mentally and physically, and he passed them both. What is the unfitness? Your fake narratives of him being a dictator and trying to take over the world? That makes him unfit? He's unfit because he questions the election? Yeah, what makes him unfit? I'm just going to say it. See, because this right here is, it's showtime for them. They're like, man, we less than a year out. Come on, Mike Pence, come out and throw some trash on Trump. We need everybody who's willing to prostitute themselves and sell out to come out and tell everybody, don't y'all do it. Don't vote for him, because they all see the writing on the wall.
This is not about politics. It's not about policy. It is
Here
about
we go. There's the statement to try to make us let our guard down and our suspicions about them. It's not about politics. It's not about it's exactly about that. That's why you have to try to disarm us by saying it. You got to try to add legitimacy to your propaganda right here by addressing the obvious. It's not about politics. It's not about the. That's exactly what it's about. We know exactly what this is. This is a full hit piece by you three.
about the character of the man who's the leader of the free world.
Exactly. And we see his character. See, that's the problem. Y'all trying to throw mud on his character. But what we see is a champion. We see a person who's willing to go through all of this bull crap, including being attacked not only by the Democrats, the deep state, and all of that, but by his own folks as well. Like you guys that worked for him. So that's what we see. But he's still chugging along. He's still chugging along. So I appreciate his character. But I question yours. You sell out.
Even now, even 3 years later, almost, there are many that haven't come out who know exactly what you all know or know more.
I think
Yeah. So that's the call. Anybody want to make some prostitution money out there, feel free to call up MSNBC. We're paying all prostitutes. Come on. That's the call. So even now. I mean, there's many of them out there right now, but they just haven't come forward. Please do. Call us if you want to prostitute yourself. Now watch this.
it's really easy to paint all of these Republicans with a broad brush and say that for, their own personal ambitions, which I think is a large majority of them. But I think another thing that we have to consider as a factor is that a lot of these people won't come forward, even if privately they'll acknowledge that Trump is unfit or will privately acknowledge that the 2020 election wasn't stolen. It's because they know that they will face death threats, that their families will face death threats.
There it is, man. There it is. Trump is that powerful and inspiring. He's able to tell, like, hey, you come out and say anything bad about me, man, I will send the goons out. That's right. Death threats. That's the go-to. There it is. Now, if you want to put the cherry on top of Trump's dictatorship narrative and he's evil and stuff, see, yeah, he's so evil. He's able to reach all kind of people. Yeah, what that person said something about me, death threats on you. Yeah, send a death threat that way. This is so garbage. See, that's what Hitler would do. And that's what Mussolini would do. They're making up stuff that they know real dictators would do. That's what, what's his name? Vladimir Putin might do. Yeah, get out there and start talking too much stuff about Xi, talking too much stuff about Kim Jong-un, the Ayatollah, all of them. Yeah, you'll get some death threats, all right. But these people? Yeah, she's trying to make it seem like Trump's that evil. He's sitting up there on a throne somewhere like they said, what? Oh, yeah, threaten her family, go out there and do. What is she talking about? See, this is the stuff that just they're trying to make him look a little more evil, see, by saying that. A little more evil. And not just Trump, y'all, it's us too. Check it out.
I knew that coming forward and speaking out against Donald Trump, I could potentially face security threats or death threats, online harassment. Despite all the personal sacrifice, ultimately it was the right thing to do. And so I just would encourage others to come forward because we're running out of time.
Y'all hear that? Because we're running out of time. He's whooping my butt. He's going to whoop Joe's butt. Now here she is. Like she just had to do it, y'all. It was her duty. Yeah, I had to do it. So I knew coming out and being bold and brave that I might face death threats, but it was worth it. I'm willing to put my own reputation, my life in danger for you all, the American people. Now, do you believe this chick? You believe her? I mean, here she is talking about, I had to do this. She made a choice. No, I didn't. I've never even heard of her. Never even seen her. Never seen her. So what's your incentive? Do you think her incentive is really to try to save democracy? Because we're running out of time. I'm sitting in my house and I'm like, you know what? I could do something about this because Trump's so evil. I know it could cost me, but I just have to say something. Somehow, I feel the need to go on MSNBC and say all these things about Trump. And just miraculously, the other two did too. They're all sitting around. After all of this is over, they're no longer at the White House, but all of them somehow decided, you know what? I was just thinking the same thing, girl. Who coordinated this? Who figured out that all three of them were disgruntled and all wanted to come out at the same time on MSNBC to vomit up their concerns about Donald Trump? I mean, if it was one, maybe, but somehow all three of them, and they want us to think that this ain't no hit piece. It's really us being concerned. We got to stop this guy. He's an existential threat.
In order to try to stop Trump.
Campaign theme is retribution. I mean, this is the centerpiece of his campaign. He says, I am your retribution. This is a tough question, but...
What kind of interviewer is this? That's not a question, that's a statement. That's you jumping in, piling on, giving him some lead questions and stuff. I mean, come on, I understand. I mean, his main theme is retribution. I mean, he said it himself, right? He did say it. Go ahead, expound upon that, please. I mean, these folks, man, this production is garbage. It's not believable. I'm looking at this production. I'm like, man, who directed this? This is horrible. I'm able to see through the plot.
Let me ask each of you, are you worried that you will face that retribution if he comes back in?
There it is, y'all. Now, this is your protection, ladies, from criticism. I mean, he's all about retribution. Are you afraid for your life that Donald Trump is going to be sitting up in the middle of the night and say, who are these three women up here talking bad about me? You know what I want to do? Send some death threats, go after their families and all of that. No, he's not using the FBI to do that like the Democrats do. Yeah, he's not sending folks to your crib all of a sudden out of nowhere. Yeah, you know what? We're here to collect your phones and all that stuff. He's not doing that. But there are these women trying to pretend like, oh, yeah, we're scared. We're scared for our life. We have no proven data that anybody has been threatened by Trump or anybody in his cabinet. But here this guy is just throwing it out and watch them.
Is a very real concern. I've met with cabinet secretaries very recently who are also on this, potential theoretical list, and they're worried about it. Listen, I'll say this with Donald Trump is what scares me as much as him and his retribution is the almost cult-like following he has of his most diehard supporters.
There it is. So now we got to bring in the supporters too. So it's not just Trump that's scary. Yeah, we want you to know, all you bubbleheads out there, that Trump is the least of your worries. It's all of those ultra MAGA voters, those supporters. They're crazy. They're off the chain. They're unpredictable. They're willing to do stuff that, we've seen Antifa do and Black Lives Matter and all of those radicals. That's what you're talking about? Because show me the footage of crazy Trump supporters hunting down all of these sellouts and bubbleheads. They do what I'm doing. Watch it and go, these are sellouts. These folks are fake. They're garbage. That's the extent of it. You might get online and call them a couple names. That's about it. But they want to make it seem as that it's straight up like, man, you know what? Trump would love us to go out and do the worst things to these people. So let's get together and do it. That's what she said. But now when it comes down to all of the folks who broke the law and participated in the real insurrection, yeah, they should be worried. But they're trying to make it seem like it's just broad. Anybody who dislikes Trump, said anything bad about Trump, all of that. He's a dictator and he'll punish them all. No, he probably would come after folks that wiretapped his stuff, all of these bootleg prosecutors, all of the folks who was participating in this mess that we can prove. Yeah, he will come after them. That's what he should do. And I would look at that as justice.
The threats, the harassment, the death threats that you get when he targets you and he's deliberate in targeting is really...
That's right. You guys are the only ones that get death threats. Conservatives never get those. You chose to come out, pop off a whole bunch of lies and stuff. And then all of a sudden, the mysterious death threat accusations come out. And I'm saying, where? Show us. I mean, it's sad that I got to ask for proof. It's kind of like the racism narrative. Y'all just throw it out there and expect everybody to believe it. When we know that these are weapons and tools that you use to get people off your back, to avoid debate, all of that stuff, death threats, racism, all of that stuff, I need to see the proof. I need to see the proof. Because, see, anything that's said to criticize folks on the left is considered violence. See, they done redefined all that mess. So it could be somebody saying these dumb bees out here lying on Trump. Oh, that's a death threat. Inspiring the others to violence for me. You can say these 3 chicks are lying. Yeah, me up here criticizing them. How that man right there put my life in danger. We have no idea what these women are talking about. And so for you to come out and say death threats, show me. And then we can do a comparison, because I'm sure we can ask all the Republicans who y'all call white nationalists, white supremacists, all of that. I'm sure they get a lot of death threats too. So here they go, though. They're victims.
Horrifying and has no place in our American discourse, and it's unlike anything I've seen in the decades plus I've been in politics. I'm less worried for any personal aspect for me is he knows how to use government better this time.
Exactly. Yeah, now she's letting the monkey out the bag. But see, she's misinterpreting. She's improperly, interpreting and what that means. He knows how to use government better this time, and that's why they're scared. But here's what she said it's for.
You can put in diehard loyalists who can weaponize every level of government against
just like you guys
detractors,
did.
against the American
Perfect.
people, against the media.
Right on.
Now, are you talking about the Biden administration? Is that's who you're talking about? Who brought in all of these people who done weaponized the government, weaponized the DOJ, weaponized the FBI? Are you talking about them? The ones that's doing exactly what you're describing right now? The one you're projecting it all on Trump? One thing you did get right, you sell out, is that, he knows the system better now. He knows the game. He knows some of the people who are rhinos, who he can trust and can't trust. And I guarantee you, he would surround himself with better people this time than he did the first time. And that's what you're scared about. Yeah, you're scared that he won't have a Christopher Wray in there sabotaging. There it is. Yeah, you're scared that he won't have a bootleg Bill Barr in there acting like I'm doing stuff and ain't really doing nothing. Yeah, you're afraid that he's going to get another Michael Flynn that doesn't get sabotaged right away and goes off on all of these people. That's what you're afraid of.
It's almost too scary to fully wrap your head around what it would look like.
The American people and people in general have short memories, and so they might forget the chaos of the Trump years. And
did y'all hear that? I thought she was talking about the bubbleheads. I thought she was talking about all these liberals who running around here with the short memories. All of that. So she said American people have short memories, so we might forget about all the chaos under the Trump administration. Like what? The chaos I saw came from Democrats. The chaos I saw were you guys down at the border making up stories about them ripping kids from their parents. I saw that chaos. I saw the chaos that y'all tried to present as white supremacy, right-wing extremism. Trump never disavowed KKK members. He said there were good people on both sides, which he didn't. All of that stuff. All of that chaos. I saw y'all talk about that. These are mostly peaceful protest, mostly people. That's the chaos I saw. I saw you guys once that mysterious virus fell out of nowhere. And you guys out there, Trump's killing people. He wants to start the government back up. He's pretty much going to kill people if he does that right now. We need to keep things shut down and then change the whole voting system to accommodate this mysterious virus that just fell out the sky. The chaos came from the left. Minus them, things were running smoothly. But she's like, I want you to remember all the chaos. And I'm like, yeah. But then to sit back and say that and say, don't vote for Trump because remember all the chaos. You're telling me to vote for Biden. And I'm saying, whoa, I remember all the chaos. I just did 2 videos showing all the chaos. Afghanistan pullout. Shutting down businesses, forcing folks to get the vaccination shot, threatening their jobs. All of that mess came out of Biden. And you talking about people got short-term memory. No, I don't. I remember how a Biden administration looked. That's chaos. Complete. Leaving equipment over there in Afghanistan. Taliban back on the scene. That's chaos. She talking about, I hope people remember all the chaos under Trump. They so fake, man.
And also, they might not just be paying attention to what he's saying now and the threat to democracy that exists. And so it does really concern me if he makes it.
The threat to the Democrats' democracy. Yeah, that's what it is. The threats to democracy never tell you how. Just we'll sit back and say it.
It to a general that he could win. I'm still hopeful that we can defeat him in the primary, but we're running out of time.
Our singular focus needs to be, if he is the nominee, on making sure that he is not elected the president again next November.
Even if that means electing a Democrat.
It's really disappointing because I look at these options and I'm upset with them. But at the end of the day, I trust one person with our government and democracy than I do the other. And so I've never voted for a Democrat in my life, but I think that in this next election, I would put policy aside and choose democracy.
Right now, there's a large portion of the population that's not recognizing their mistakes, that's not working to continue to better our country. And right now, we're completely splitting down the middle. One side.
So we're not recognizing our mistakes. There you go, y'all. They're sitting back like, we're running out of time. We got to stop this, man. And we got a whole bunch of folks out there not recognizing their mistakes. And I'm going, what mistakes? What are you talking about? We recognize your lies. We recognize your propaganda, your manipulation, your gaslighting. How much did these women get for this? What's your incentive for doing this? Because you're not doing it because you're just a concerned citizen. That's for sure. That's for sure. This right here is so coordinated. It's unbelievable. So obvious. They somehow miraculously found 3 former women that worked in the Trump administration that all at the exact same moment decided we want to come out and tell our story, and all somehow was contacted either by MSNBC or all contacted MSNBC, and MSNBC, that's funny, I just got a call from the one chick and the other one too. How about we all put together all 3 of you guys and you could come on and tell your story. This is about as natural as when Trump, after that Hollywood Access tape came out and he debated Hillary, right after that debate the next morning, 12 women, all 12 of them somehow made it up there to do a press conference early in the morning. There you go. All a quinky dink. They all somehow through osmosis felt that, you know what, I feel the need to somehow manage to get up to New York early in the morning. And I'm just assuming there's going to be a press conference that I can sit and vomit up all of this stuff about Trump for. Would anybody make that trip and not know if they're actually going to have an audience? If there's not going to be a press conference held, would you just make that trip? Would you just go up there out of nowhere and say, I'm here to talk about how Trump assaulted me back in the day. Hey, what are you doing here, girl? Oh, another, it's 12 of us here? That's crazy. Y'all off? Democrats put this mess together. These are the tactics of the left. Bring folks out there, coordinate this mess, try to make it appear that they're really sincere. Because look at that. They all work for Trump. They're Republicans and they're women. They can't criticize. You can't criticize them, call them names, because then you're putting their lives in danger. And they're saying, we got to stop this man. Hurry up, y'all, because he's about to win.
That's the truth. And that is reality. And the other side is propaganda and lies.
Okay.
What? So we're all making mistakes by not believing these people. Yeah, because Trump and all the other stuff is propaganda and lies. Not you guys. Not you 3 sellouts that's on MSNBC that all conservatives, if they have any awareness, knows that that's a fake network that is owned by the deep state. But the fact that you're on there lets me know that you are a sellout. You're on a deep state network and you're telling me that they're not believing us. They're believing the propaganda and lies of the other side. As you are on the propaganda network, vomited up lies. Projection.
This is a fundamental election to continue to safeguard our institutions and our constitutional republic.
To safeguard our institutions. Basically, to safeguard, not the institutions in our government. No, that's not what it's for. It's to safeguard this Democrats' version of democracy, meaning we control who you guys can vote for. Yeah, we're able to make the choice and get Trump off if we want to, and shut your mouths about it. Protect the old way of the perception that you all think you're voting for someone and you're really not. We don't want that to go. See, we don't want Trump coming in and interrupting all of our little, strategies and all of our structure we got when it comes down to how we send money, get kickbacks, play around in other people's governments, all of the stuff that we've been doing for years and years and years, and then built this thing to operate smoothly. Trump came in and messed that all up. We want to go back to that. All right. So that's what we're protecting, not democracy. So now, guys, they're not the only ones that have bubble wrapped themselves to come out here and try to support the narrative that Trump needs to be stopped. And then talking about my life in danger. Well, we're not going to finish tonight. I always think that I am. It's crazy. I didn't think I'd go this long with this, but I at least want to show two more examples of some folks saying, well, let's follow suit. Yeah. See, we do stupid stuff. And when we do stupid stuff and know we're going to take criticism, the way we compensate for that is that criticism is threatening my life. There it is.
We're extremely fragile as a country, and so is the democratic experiment.
So here we go. More bubbleheads. Starting with this chick right here. Look at this.
So is the democratic experiment.
Look at this. Look at this.
Thanks for having me on, Stephen. I think in Maine, the Secretary of State makes determinations like this. By the way, in Colorado, I would also be in the place of making the determination if a lawsuit wasn't filed so early. But in Maine, I think Shanna Bellows made the right decision in agreement with the Colorado Supreme Court.
Shanna Bella made the right decision. Of course you would say that. Because see, what you are is you're a Democrat who don't believe in democracy. There it is. We're protecting democracy by removing it. Now look at these crazy eyes. Y'all ready for these crazy eyes, y'all? I think it was her crazy eyes. Let's see.
Donald Trump incited an insurrection to try to steal the presidency from the American people. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment makes it very clear that elected officials can't...
You know why she got those crazy surprise eyes? Because she's reading off a screen. There it is. Donald Trump made it very obvious that he tried to launch an insurrection. That the third clause of the insurrection clause. There it is. Them eyes was wide open, reading. They're like, all right, now here's what we need you to say. All right. We want you to support Shida Bella, first of all, okay, and then just rehash some talking points about the 14th Amendment and how Donald Trump's guilty and he should be removed from the ballot.
Can't do that and then serve in office again. And I don't believe there should be some loophole in the Constitution that puts only Donald Trump above the law.
Whoa, those some crazy eyes, man. Woo-wee. You're scaring me with those eyes. Man, she got some bug eyes right there, man. Hyper focus. Okay, so here she is. Donald Trump's not above the law for you, Joy Behar, just in case you're out there. Yeah. We want people like you to listen to me and say, well, I think the law would cover supports the law, right? I mean, you think we should leave it to the people? That's her job. Her job is to convince people like Joy Behar with these crazy eyes right here.
Constitution when he incites rebellion or incites an insurrection. The other thing I would say is I do think...
Incites rebellion, incites an insurrection. How? I mean, the Democrats are the kings and queens of rebellion and insurrection. Soon as Trump won, they incited rebellion and insurrection by claiming that he was a Russian agent and he really didn't win. Putin helped him. Now, what do you think that does to all of the bubbleheads that y'all been prepping for years to be radical? Now they're sitting there going, wait a minute. First of all, you're telling me this white nationalist racist that y'all been telling us, this pretty much KKK member, he wins. And now we find out not only did this white nationalist KKK member win, but you telling me Russia helped him? So he's also a Russian agent? Oh, heck no. And everybody with a red hat is a white nationalist too? Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go out and attack those people. We're going to go out. We're going to call them all kind of names. We're going to say, well, you know what? We can be violent towards these people because, look, they support a white nationalist and a Russian agent. These people did that. And here she is talking about he inspires violence and an insurrection.
Secretary Bellows is brave and courageous. She is the first individual by herself having to make this decision. And she's the first dummy by herself having to make this decision. I'm trying to run cover for her and justify why she did this. And of course, now that I'm saying stupid stuff, I got to go ahead and lay down my cover that my life is in danger. Acutely aware of the threat environment that we work in.
What threat environment? I mean, is she working down there on the border? I mean, maybe is she in Beirut? I mean, is she out there in the streets? Is she running? Is she undercover in the mob? What threat environment are you talking about? Acutely aware of the threat environment that we work in as this big air-conditioned building with security. This is very scary. This is a threatening environment. So you go out and you do stupid stuff. And then you talk about we're in a threat environment. You make these choices. You're the one coming out and supporting this. You're the one willing to throw the Constitution under the bus to try to stop Trump. And got the nerve to say, don't you be criticizing me or you're putting my life in danger.
I commend her for her actions, and we'll see how the litigation inevitably plays out in the state of Maine.
I reviewed.
She got those surprises. So now let's hear from Shida Bella herself, because she's back, y'all. And of course, her life in danger, y'all. I made dumb choices, and now my life in danger for making dumb choices. I put myself in this situation, but don't you acknowledge that?
Section 3 of the 14th Amendment very carefully and determined that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment does not say conviction, it says engage.
There you go. It doesn't say conviction. It says engage. There it is. So now, I'm going to go ahead and say, well, look, man, this man don't need to be convicted of that. He engaged. But who decides what engagement looks like? You, Shida Bella? Are you the one to say he engaged? And insurrection. To me, he didn't engage in none of that. So he engaged in an insurrection by doing what? Telling people to go over there and let your voices peacefully be heard. He engaged in an insurrection by simply saying, I don't trust the results of the election. He engaged in an insurrection by saying, hey, I'm offering 10 to 20,000 troops to make sure nothing crazy goes down. He engaged in an insurrection by telling these people it's time to go home now. All right, go home, stop this mess. He engaged in an insurrection, according to Shida Bella, and that's all that matters. That makes him guilty, and he should be removed from the ballot.
And let's go back and keep in mind that the events of January 6, 2021...
Y'all see them eyes? Y'all see them eyes going down to that paper? Those talking points?
...were unprecedented and tragic. This was an attack.
And tragic. The results, let's keep in mind, the results of that on January is tragic. And let's keep in mind, wait a minute, hold on. I lost my place. Can we go back a little bit and now start over again? Okay, good. Ready? Action. The engagement of... So let's hear the Valley Girl finish, gagging herself like a spoon.
Not only on the Capitol and the government officials, the former vice president, members of Congress, but an attack on the rule of law. And
there it is. She got all them talking points together. Not only an attack on the American people, the rule of law, the vice president, but also this fool. This nasty, nerdy thinking. Try interpreting that, YouTube. See if your algorithms can figure out what I just said. She's a bunch of Mickey Ficky freaking. There you go. Let's continue.
The weight of evidence that I reviewed indicated that it was in fact an insurrection.
That it was in fact an insurrection. You don't hear that? She can barely open her mouth. There you go. It was an insurrection. What facts did you view? Huh? Did you view the ones that I have? Did you view the ones that I showed on my show last night and the night before? Did you view those, Shida Bella? You think she went in trying to view the facts fair and balanced? Now let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is kind of odd that you guys are saying it was an insurrection, but no one had guns or anything like that. No weapons. No one was killed. You know what? That's helping me conclude that Donald Trump launched an insurrection. You think she was doing that? Or was she going, please help me jerry-rig this and contort this and run cover for me to try to say that I looked at this garbage and concluded that Donald Trump launched an insurrection. That's what you need to do. Y'all need to give me some talking points because I'm too stupid to come up with an argument on my own. So give me some talking points, put me on camera, and then I'll go ahead and read those talking points. And then at the end of that, say my life's in danger.
And Mr. Trump engaged in that insurrection under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment.
Are you concerned about the fallout?
I will always implement what the court decides. And this type of proceeding is not unusual as part of my duty.
I will always implement what the courts decide. Well, why make the decision? Why make the decision on you're going to now make a solo decision like this and then say, but whatever the courts decide. Yeah. See, I'm above the courts. I'm going to go ahead and take this one by the reins. So to make this decision, it needs to be definitive. You need to know 100% that I am right. I'm so confident in this that I already know the courts, what they're going to decide. And this is the game they play. They try to accuse Trump of all these vague, loosey-goosey accusations and stuff like that. And everybody's going, now, how does it, wait, now, there's certain things we know, black and white. You punch somebody, that's assault. There it is. But they are all in this gray area and interpretation and all of this, and it's up to me and my interpretation. And with that, I'm willing to risk democracy. I'm willing to disenfranchise all of these folks in my state based on my interpretation of this garbage. That's what I'm willing to do. And I'm confident about it. But I'm so confident that I'm going to go ahead and say, but hey, ultimately it's up to the Supreme Court. Because she's really not confident about it. She knows it's garbage. That's right. And she knows it's going to get overturned.
Duties in Maine under Maine election law. In 2022, for example, I held a similar hearing on the qualifications of a district attorney candidate, found him unqualified. That was appealed. The court upheld my ruling. Okay. I mentioned Mr. Chris Christie just last week, the Superior Court finding that I had made the right decision in barring him from the ballot.
Right. Well, that was an easy decision. You see her trying to justify that? Like, oh, y'all think it's just Trump? Man, nah, man. Look, don't hear what I did to Chris Christie. Yeah, I told that dude, man, you ain't qualifying nothing up here in Maine, baby. Why? Because Chris Christie didn't get enough signatures. That's an easy one. See, this is how, it should work, where things are black and white. All right, you need 200, you got 100. There you go. You didn't make it. But now all of a sudden, the 13th Amendment, Section 3, it says that Trump participated in an insurrection, and from what I can see, and that right there ain't black and white. But you're gonna try to throw that out there as leverage. So we'll go, well, I mean, she's very, she's nonpartisan. She gave it to Christie, so I mean, maybe she is being honest about getting rid of Trump.
Your Maine law, but I will always uphold what the court does, and it's part of the job of being Secretary of State. Should the U.S. Supreme Court rule? You should uphold what the Constitution states. The same bootleg chick who was all over the internet talking about democracy and disenfranchising voters, and we have to make sure we have people in office that respects the rule of law and voting and stuff like that. Yeah, that same chick. Now here she wants to go ahead and take away the right to vote for who you want to vote for up there in Maine. And talking about, but I will always uphold the Constitution and the Supreme Court's decision. I hope they decide that your butt need to go somewhere and sit down after this. That Mr. Trump be on the ballot. I will in fact place him on the ballot. It's part of why I suspended the effect of my decision until the courts can act.
No, because you knew it was dumb. You just wanted the virtue signal. You sat out there going, man, this is going to put me on a bubble. I'm going to go out there anyway and do it. I don't care. Well, I mean, look, somebody is going to help me out. So I'm going to say it. I'm going to go out there and do it and set a precedent. And then other dummies will follow along and they'll praise me. They'll say, you're smart, you're brave. Look at you. You're a pioneer. You stepped out. You're a maverick. And then when people who knows that I'm none of those things start to criticize me, then I'm going to say my life's in danger and it's a threat and people don't, all of that stuff. She discusses me.
So no ballots are being printed until that Superior Court decision or Supreme Court decision might come down, although we're looking at a very tight time frame.
It's very...
Yeah. So we're going to close with Byron Donalds really summing up the Democrats' version of democracy. Byron, we done heard a lot of people tonight. A lot of bubbleheads, a lot of fake rhinos, all talking about this 14th Amendment and removing Trump from the ballot. What's your take on this, since they're protecting democracy?
Anti-democratic. Anybody that says otherwise is a fool and is lying to the American people.
Whoa, Byron, you came out throwing those bolos. You came out throwing those clever lanes. Yeah. The Democrats in this whole shenanigan is anti-democratic. Yeah. This right here does not fit what they're saying. It fits. Let's hear them again. Here we go.
Very tight time frame.
It's very anti-democratic. Anybody that...
Very anti-democratic. Wow. That's the opposite of what they've been telling us. They've been running around saying this is all about democracy and we're protecting it. Oh, interesting.
That says otherwise is a fool and is lying.
And anybody who says otherwise is a fool. So that means Bella. That means all those 3 chicks, the witches. That means all of the folks up there on The View talking about the 14th Amendment and getting Trump off the ballot and it's legit and we should do it. You're a fool. Either you're a fool or you're corrupt. There's only 2 choices. Yeah, one of the 2. You pick. Because if you think that taking Trump off the ballot is legit, that means you're completely ignorant like Joy Behar, or you're corrupt like Shida Bella.
Lying to the American people. I want to talk to Democrat voters for a moment. You rank and file Democrat voters, you work hard, you live life, you're not really political. You have people in your party who are radicals, who are anti-democratic. They don't believe in the will of the people. They don't believe in votes in the ballot box, legitimate ones. They don't even believe in the rule of law and actually following the rule of law. They only care about their agenda. You got to stop voting for these people because they are the ones who are destroying America's republic. They are the ones who are threats to our democracy.
I like speeches like that. I like it raw like that. No OJ, no straw. When you give it to me, you ain't give it to me raw. I've learned. Thank you, Byron, for summing it all up. And for all the bubblehead Democrat voters out there that for some reason might think that, yeah, you know what? The 14th Amendment does apply. He just basically laid it down. Look, if you think this is legit and you want our country to move forward without civil war, without complete distrust in our republic and our voting process, you might want to consider your support of this narrative. I mean, is it that important to destabilize the whole country by supporting this crap? I mean, if you're a rational Democrat voter, I ain't talking about the radicals, the folks that are completely brainwashed. They're beyond repair. They're beyond repair, unfortunately. Many of them. I'm not saying they can't come back from the brainwashing and get out the matrix, but I'm talking about folks that are still reasonable. They got enough common sense to say, wait, hold on, they're trying to remove Trump from the ballot. That seems a little drastic. That seemed like that could have repercussions. That seemed like it could set a precedent that we might never recover from. That seemed like it would insert distrust into the system for decades, if not forever. I mean, I know I would never trust if they did that and won, if they were able to remove Trump off the ballot forever. I mean, at that point, I'm thinking, man, we might have to get our own island or something like that and start a whole new government. I mean, because right now America is falling. I wouldn't trust none of that. I don't care. They could get up and give some speeches, Democrat or Republican, could get up and go, all right, thanks for electing me. Now that I'm in, things are going to be going, The only true independent president that was close to winning, y'all stole it from him. And you want me to believe the next Republican that gets put in is going to be like Trump, willing to do all those things? Huh? Nah, I wouldn't believe it. I mean, that's that moment where I say, well, maybe we do need a divorce. Because I don't trust the system anymore. I could never trust it if they did that. And what's crazy about it is they know that, and they're still trying to do it anyway, which means that they are willing to go to whatever extreme, regardless of how it could destroy the country, how it would impact the people, how it would destabilize our republic, how it would kill the trust in the system. They don't even care. That means it's important. That means this is their last ditch effort. When they're willing to do this, they're in trouble. They're in big trouble. So guys, we got to hold the fort down. We got to hold the line, man. We can't be out there talking about, well, let's get content. Looks like we got it in the bag. They're desperate and they're willing to do anything. And we got to go ahead and get through the finish line on this one. No time to look over the shoulder. Full-blown sprint, head down, and lean through. That's what we got to do. So God bless y'all. I didn't finish the second half. I'll finish that tomorrow because there's more shenanigans. That moves into another form of garbage that comes from the left. You know, it's all the garbage. Somebody said, you're amazing. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. You guys are amazing too. I'm only as good as my audience. Wouldn't do no good if I was sitting up here just talking to a blank screen by myself. Somebody said, love the snow. And we got some. We got some out there, man. Yeah, I didn't even know it. Here I am. I got up and let me go out and whoa, what's this? Jack Frost nipping at my nose. Yeah, I was shocked. Talking about some Frosty the Snowman. There you go. Caught me off guard. But ain't nothing like a little bit of snow to keep it spicy. So don't forget, hit the like button, share my videos. Thanks for all the comments. And what else? There's something I was going to tell you. Oh, yeah. Don't forget, check out this store and my merch store. And if you want to support the channel through my Cash App, PayPal, all that link, those links are below the video. I sure enough appreciate it. And it really does help, guys. It offsets, a lot. Because I'm telling y'all, man, YouTube's making it hard, man. Yeah, they're going to make me have to go back on the jackhammer. I don't want to go out there back on the jackhammer. So, but no, I'm just kidding. I never worked the jackhammer. But, but I'll do it. See, as a man, you do what you got to do. See, I ain't supposed. Yeah, guys talking about, I don't want to work that. Man, if you ain't got no money coming in, you got to take care of yourself. If the jackhammer is paying, you better get your butt out there on a jackhammer, get them hands roughed up. Shoot, I'll do it if I have to. But I prefer to be able to provide content like this for you guys. Last night I was up all night cutting these clips up. And every time I put them together and think, oh, man, I should be able to get through this. Then I look and I go, what? I'm at an hour and a half already? What the heck? So thank you so much for just hanging out with me. And then finally, subscribe to my alternative channel. Just in case you haven't, follow me on Rumble and on all the other social media platforms. And with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. God bless. This is All City. Yeah. Take care. God bless.